Okay, so let us look at the question. It says, does the absence of water lead to a plant withering? And to what extent does water deprivation affect their survival and overall health? First of all, it's way too broad. You're looking at a lot of things. You need to focus on your independent variable and your dependent variable. Here, from what I'm looking at, independent variable is water. So the dependent variable, you have several of them, but I want you to focus on one of those dependent variables that you are able to measure. Can you measure withering? Is there a ruler, a meter, or something to measure with withering? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. How about overall health? How are you going to measure that? You need to find a dependent variable that you're able to measure. For example, height. For example, mass. For example, I don't know. You decide, right? So, withering will not work. Overall health also will not work. Survival, probably, but it's not the strongest dependent variable. Why? Because we all know that living things need water to survive. The easiest one to go here would be growth, because you can measure the height of the plant. The growth of the plant is measured by measuring the height of the plant, right? Sorry. Okay. Mute this. So, change withering, change survival, and please do not use pronouns. And go with the dependent variable that you can measure. For example, growth. Please don't feel like you have to use growth. I'm just suggesting that you use growth, but you can change it to any dependent variable that you can measure, okay, using a measuring tool. I was stressing on that from the beginning. So, does the absence of water, and I would change the word absence to lack of water, lead to, you tell me what, to slow growth or to a faster growth, or you decide what will be when it comes to the dependent variable. Aim to, the hypothesis goes before the aim. If a plant is deprived of water, then it will wither because water is essential for survival. Okay, then it will, whatever you decide to go here as your dependent variable will go right here on your hypothesis, because water is essential for change survival to whatever you decide. Aim to investigate the impact of water deprivation on a plant. Here you're talking about, you don't even have a dependent variable on the aim. The aim is to, followed by the verb, which is investigate. Then you need your independent variable and your dependent variable. Independent here is, okay, water deprivation. That's your independent variable. Where is your dependent variable? I don't know. You need to add that here as well. Whatever you decide. If you go with growth, it has to be growth on both, on the question, the hypothesis, and the aim, right? It has to be the same independent variable, the same dependent variable for all of these throughout the lab. We move on to apparatus. Please number them. Actually, you can put this as a separate one. Material. 2. Okay. All of this that you have in brackets, put it as your precautions, right? It has to be of the same species and of the same health condition. See, there's your 2 precautions right there. You don't need it on the materials. Here you can say 2, I don't know, you decide to go mango plants. Don't use mango, okay? I'm just giving you an example. 2 mango plants. Then notebook, pen, ruler. Okay. Procedures. Choose 2 potted plants of the same species, ranging from 7 to 12 inches. Both plants must be of the same health. Okay. Once again, this goes as precaution. Choose 2 potted plants. You have to tell me what type of plant. You decide what type of plant, but make sure you're specific about what type of plant you're going to be using. Then you can remove this here. Number 2, measure the plants with a ruler and use the electric scale to measure their weight. Once again, no pronouns. Measure the plants with a ruler. But what are you measuring? The height, the width? What are you measuring? You have to be specific, right? Measure the height, because I believe it's the height of the plant with a ruler. And use the electric scale to measure the weight. But here, what if one of the plants is in a bigger pot and the other one is in a smaller pot? The mass will be different. You understand? Number 3, label each plant as plant A and plant B to distinguish between them. Once again, pronouns. Label each plant. Label one plant as plant A and the other as plant B. Full stop. No need for that. This could go before 2, then you move number 2 to number 3. Switch them around. Then you can measure the height of each plant with a ruler. With a ruler. Full stop. Full stop. Then, and why exactly are you measuring the mass with the electric scale? I could see why you would measure the height with a ruler, because you're going to be measuring growth. But why would you measure an electric scale? I mean, it's not wrong, but you're going to just complicate yourself, and you want to keep it simple at this stage, right? So if you ask me, I would prefer if you remove the electric scale. Number 4, record the initial appearance, height, weight, and overall health of both plants. Okay. Record the initial. Yeah, you could include appearance, but the one that you would be focusing, the one that you're measuring, is height. Once again, weight, I'm not too sure. Remove overall health. Overall health, I don't think that could work. Instead of, if you decide to keep weight, change the word weight to mass, okay? If you decide, but as long as you're focusing on height, you're good to go. Number 5, place both plants in a controlled environment with consistent sunlight and temperature. Okay. How are you going to control temperature, no? Number 6, water both plants adequately a day before starting the experiment. You don't start the experiment already. You can say water both plants with 200 ml of water. Full stop. Remove all of this. All of that is extra. For plant A, refrain from watering the plant for the entire month and water plant B daily with 100 ml of water in the morning and 1 in the evening. In the morning and in the evening. Here, I forgot to tell you, you did not label which one is the controlled apparatus, which one is the experimental apparatus. Here, I see. I think here you can label it. You can split this procedure 7. Sorry, I'm trying to make sense of this. So plant B would be receiving water, so that would be like the normal condition. Plants get water, so B would be the control. Make sure that you label as plant B is your control, plant A is the experimental group, right? So for plant A, refrain from watering. Maybe you can change this. Refrain from watering plant A for the entire month, full stop. Then this could go as a next procedure. Water plant B daily with 100 ml of water in the morning and in the evening. Number 8, monitor the plant weekly, recording any changes in appearance, withering. Don't get rid of withering or signs of distress. What signs? You have to be specific as to what you want to focus on, right? Monitor the plant weekly, recording any changes in height, appearance. You don't need appearance, but if you want to keep it, then fine. Continue this for the entire month. So weekly means every 7 days. You need to keep that clear, right? For the entire month. At the end of the month, measure the weight and height. Focus on the height of both plants using the ruler and the electric scale. You can do weight, and if you decide to use weight or the mass, just make sure that you keep it throughout, right? But like I said, what we can focus on is height. If you want to do mass, you can switch it to only mass, or you can do both, but it's going to make it more complicated because of your table, and you will see what I mean in a little while. So if you decide to remove weight, you remove electric scale. Number 10, compare the final condition of both plants. Record any difference in the growth, weight, leaf color, and overall health. You already mentioned this. Analyze the results to determine whether the water-deprived plant is in more distress than plant B. More distress, you can measure that, right? So compare the final condition of both plants. You can remove this. Like I said, I don't know if you want to keep that. Remove this for sure, and this for sure. Remove that. You forgot the number of trials. You have to mention how many trials you will have for the experiment, right? And what else did you forget? Let me see. If we look at the checklist that I sent via WhatsApp, yeah, for your table now, you would have, did you figure out table already? But you would have apparatus A, apparatus B, obviously your title, right? Which one is your control? I think, which one was it? B was your control. This one was without water. This is your experimental group, right? You need your initial measurement. Which measurement are we using? Height. Because remember, we are using growth. So you will record here. If you would have carried out the experiment, you would record your initial for both plants, initial height. Then you need 3 columns. This would be trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, and this would be height of plant, and that would be in centimeters, right? You would need a column for average and deduction. And here it says measure every 7 days for a month. So trial 1, you would divide this into 7. The first 7 days, the other 7 days is 14, day 14, day 21, day 28. And then here you can put probably a column that says change in height. And you do the same thing for trial 2, trial 3. The same thing, 7, 14, 21, 28, change in height. Trial 3, 7, 14, 21, 28, change in height. So you're conducting the experiment, you're recording results every 7 days for 3 different trials. When you do the average, you would be averaging the number that you would get for each trial, but we're not there as yet, right? So all of that will be blank. All you have to do is format your table with the column headings, with the number of days, the height of the plant in centimeters, your apparatus, and so forth, right? Neatly. And at the bottom, remember, you need an expected results statement. And it is 2 to 3 sentences. You need to tell me what do you think will happen to apparatus A and apparatus B, which is your control. What do you think, what do you expect will happen with these two apparatus, right? In 2 sentences. Refer to Canva once again so that you can get that. Also review the checklist that I sent and compare it with your work to see that you have all the things that you need to have.